Hello everybody, and welcome back to this Metroid Fusion speedrunning tutorial. Today we're going to be going over Sector 6. This sector is probably going to be a little bit shorter. Well, I said that last time. It's going to continue to be as short, probably, as the last one. Just because of the fact that there is not a whole lot to do here, except, especially in the first pass through this area. So, Sector 6 is the nocturnal sector, and it's, you know, they say in the very beginning that it's a very dark sector. But we're going to come to find out that that's not entirely the case. And there are a few, like, setup tricks here to do as well on your first pass through as you're going to get to the data room. You'll see soon enough. Alright, so I'm actually going to save right here. Do a nice little quick save. And the reason for that is two things. The first one being the fact that we need a speed booster as we come out of here. Like, we come out of the room. The second one being that there's a couple different things and ways that this can go. Depending on your missile situation. So I'll just do it assuming that we have, you know, more than 3 missiles. So I'm gonna run in, and I'll jump right before I hit the edge there, so I can do that. So when I get to this room, I'm going to fall along, and I'm going to lay a bomb along this wall to open this pathway. Now the reason I do this is because there's a missile pack in here. So, and the reason I'm laying the bomb now is so that way I can, when I come through, I'm just going to come through, lay the bomb, and I'm just going to fire 3 missiles and be on my way. And you're just going to go out that way. Now, if you don't have 3 missiles coming out of Sector 3, you know, it's not a big deal for any percent, because there are a few different backups that you can employ here. But they require speed booster. Or one does anyway. So you're going to store the spark here, do a hop, and it was a little tight there, but you're going to hop over that first little, like, spider bull, and you're going to use the spark. Now, it's very important that when you use this spark, you're holding to the right, so that way when you hit the slope, you can continue running like you just saw. Now, the other important thing is that you immediately hold upright and start firing, or press the left trigger button. Now, the reason for this is because you want to be able to aim up and shoot that door as soon as you possibly can. So that way the door opens and you can run through so you don't run into it. Because you're going to need this, so I'm just going to continue this here, and I'm going to store it here. I'm going to lay a bomb there, and then I'm going to use it. Now, a few things that I just did there. I missed the bomb. Cool. A few things that I did there very quickly. So when I stored it, I ran down and I fell off to go lay the bomb, and then I pressed A as soon as I was unmorphed. So I laid the bomb, pressed up once, and then pressed A again to use the spark to the right to spark through the barrier. Now the reason I didn't, you know, spin as I fell off and press A is because if I fell off here and I pressed A, I would immediately use the spark. I'll do it again because this can go really quickly. If you want, especially because this is a YouTube video, you're able to slow this down to 0.75, a half speed, a quarter speed. So you can slow it down to see exactly what's happening. And I wish I had an input viewer, but unfortunately I don't. So, sorry. The entire time that I'm sparking, I am holding L. That's gonna miss. So, when I do this, I'm just spamming B as I get through the first 2 rooms, and then through the door transition, right as soon as I get control of Samus, I'm preparing to press the store button. So right about now is when I'm about to press it. And the entire time that I'm sparking, I'm holding left trigger. That probably won't destroy it. It did. Hey, look at that. Another important thing that I want to show as well, if you're doing this method as a backup strat, it's all well and good, for sure, don't get me wrong on that. It's a very good backup. The other thing that you want to keep in mind, though, and something that I have not covered yet in this tutorial, is that it's going to be coming up here in a second. I'll explain it. So, you can see after I hit, I kind of jumped up into the air a bit. Now, the way I'm able to do this is, as soon as I bonk, I keep the A button held in, and the reason for this is that if you hold the A button in as you collide, Samus will do an extra jump out of the bonk. So you'll get vertical height, and it can be used in some places. I don't remember how often it's used in a speedrun, just thinking about it, but it's pretty... I mean, I'd say it's pretty important to keep that in mind, especially there. That's like that's one of the few places that you'll use it. Now, the most efficient way to get through this door, it's a little risky, but if you come through here, you can actually jump through the door in the recharge room with the spark. So right about there. As long as you hit that guy with a shot, it's fine, and then lay a bomb. 1, 2, 3. And you might think that, like, okay, I laid the bomb and I walked away, but if you do that, I mean, you can still see that it goes off and it destroys the block. This is actually probably one of the more important things, and the one thing that you'll actually use through every any percent run that you do. This missile pack is very quick to get. It's one of the ones on the optimal missile path route. The other thing that you can do is say that we don't have enough missiles, and you mess up the shine spark. Just grab the missiles early. You can grab these missiles as early as you want. It's faster to get them on the way back out, but if you're struggling and hurting for missiles, and you need to get through the barrier, and you didn't get the shine spark, that's another alternative way to get through that barrier. Just come right through. Oops. Do that. And then we're just going to come up here. I jumped through that door to not only get a door fix, but the door fix also allows you to, as you jump through, you can miss that ledge instead of, falling off of it, losing your momentum, and then having to regain it. You kind of maintain at least half of the momentum through the door, and you don't lose like a little bit of time. I think that door fix only saves around 16 to 20 frames, if I'm not mistaken. But it's still, it's pretty useful, regardless. So again, this entire time that we're going to be going through and getting to the data room, it's all going to be really easy going. The blue X are really going to be the only things that are going to offer you some hindrance, and they do 50 damage each, so you save about 53. Now, ooh, am I playing on hard? 43 to 74, that's, what is that? 26, 43, so that's, what, 7, or 69? Yeah, they do 69 damage. Not hard. We're just gonna fall down this room. And then, I'm gonna save here, because there's a little bit of a riskier strat that you can employ. So, you can just run right through this, and there's a a blue X in that box there. And I'll not shoot the box this time, so that way you can visually see. So as you run in, you can kind of just shoot upwards and just miss this box completely, because if you don't, there's that guy there. Hitting it with a charge shot, though, will stun it temporarily, which is very important. So what you want to do when you come in, you can either shoot the box that it's contained in and jump over it like this, or you can run in, avoid shooting that box especially if you're not at a very safe health at the time, and just be on your way. So, oops. So when you come over, so for this area, when you come over this area, you're just going to maintain your, along this left wall. You're going to follow along the left wall here. And you're going to shoot these blocks out. You can, as long as you shoot one of them and you're able to grab it, as long as you're holding left, you'll be able to grab the ledge and roll right through. Because the other alternative is to come up through this maze down here, where there's 2 blue X. So you would have to fall down, and then you would come up this way, try to dodge 2 blue X, and then there's a 3rd blue X right there. So by doing this, you're skipping 2 blue X that are potentially harmful, as well as moving through the room quicker. And I fire as I come through this room just to stun that blue X, and then I move on my way. I fire up left in this room as I get the Shine Spark. So, it's very important here, especially because when you enter this room, as long as you're firing up and to the left and spamming B, you're going to hit all 3 of those guys regardless. Now, whether or not you store the spark like I did after the blocks is going to be, it'll determine a few things. Whether or not you'll be able to use the Shine Spark. So I fall down, I use the spark, I shoot the door open, and then I jump into that E-tank and try to lay a bomb. Or, if you miss the spark, if you don't store it, you can just as easily just continue on your way without having to worry about the spark. The spark is, by all intents and purposes, faster, for sure. But you can still lay that bomb on the E-tank. And the reason you lay the bomb on that E-tank is because you see that it goes off during the item acquisition text. If you lay it low enough to the ground, you're actually able to open up the passage so you can effectively skip, bonk, cool. You'll effectively skip having to lay another one, so if I do this, that should work. You can see that it goes off and it opens up this pathway. Another thing that I've talked about before is, as I'm falling down, if you fall and from a height of 3 or more blocks, you'll get this bounce. But if you kind of time it up, you kind of don't have to do that. Another way you could do this is, as you fall down, because we have jump ball, you know, you can kind of see that I do a small, I press and hold A, and by doing that, I can kind of hop off the ground. If I'm fast enough, as I fall down, I'll do a small enough hop to kind of be able to regain control, because if I don't, I bounce like this high. But instead, I'm just doing a very small hop and going through. That's a little bit faster, RTA, and saves you a bit more frames than it does to, you know, kind of lay the bomb, come in, and then kind of run down and morph. And it's going to take you some time to kind of practice laying that bomb on the E-tank for sure. Because it's so, you know, it requires it to be kind of specifically placed. So if you get like the speed booster like this, that should work. And then you just kind of do something like this, and then we'll be... So, let me do this again, because you can actually speed up opening that door. So, there's nothing wrong with landing and shooting the door. The alternative is you can open that door as you're falling because of the wide, or not the wide beam, but the charge beam being as wide as it is. That'll work perfectly. And again, it works out by laying that bomb because you're in midair. If you're touching the ground when that bomb goes off, even if it's in midair, as we've seen before, you'll get sent flying into the air. Now, for this, as long as I am able to kind of, you know, as I hit these blocks, I'll unmorph, fire down, and then I'll try to morph as I land again. The entire time, as soon as I unmorph, I press down so that way I'm looking down, I fire the shot, and then I morph again right before I hit the ground, so that way I don't, you know, land like that and have to press down twice. Because if I land like this, I have to press down twice. I can kind of just do something like that, and then I'm able to enter this room and roll across. And again, lay a bomb a little bit early, and I lay the bomb slightly early, like around here-ish, so that way the bomb goes off. You know, you can, as long as it's within, like, this kind of area, I think, right about here. And again, you see me kind of doing a small hop here. The reason I'm doing the small hop is to avoid this. by doing this little small hop. Oh, hello. Went through a respawning block. Good thing this isn't the English version. I'd have clipped out of bounds. I do a small little hop there to avoid having to worry about getting shot in the in an upwards direction and losing time. We're just gonna roll, and I probably should have saved here. I wonder if I'm able to save here. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it. Alright, so we're just gonna do this again. Oh no, my beanbag chair lost a little, one of his little guys. Whoops. Good save. Good job, me. Alright. Now that I have no momentum, I will quick save. And then we're gonna do this bit. We will roll this way. So this is another SAX skip. You can sit right here, because as you can see, well, you'll see in a second, I'll just sit right here as the power bomb goes off, especially if you're hurting for health, or, you know, you're doing hard, you can, and, you know, because this does 30 damage on hard, 20 on normal, you can kind of just sit here and wait until he kind of jumps down. You see it jump down. Just wait for it to kind of walk away. And you hear it open the door, but... And, like, if you come in here now that the SX is gone, you've got all these enemies. So there's a different room state that's going on here than it would be if it was a chase. If you just kind of come in, you'll shoot this, and then you'll just roll right through. However, say you want to skip the SAX, which is possible. You can do it. Alright, so let's do this. We'll skip the SAX. I know, scary thing's about to happen. We're also right about here. This is where the door trigger is. Now, I'm going to roll back, and you can kind of see that there's the block, there's a kind of grayish texture, and then the green one, and then another gray one. I'm going to sit right here in the middle, right where the SAX is going to morph. And then I'm going to get to this one, this gray one right here. The second gray one, or the third pair of two blocks from the wall, or the crumble block. And the reason I'm going to do this is exactly where the power bomb blocks begin. So, I'll show you in a second. I'm going to jump, shoot, and then I'm just going to jump right underneath it, and then fall down these crumble blocks and just run through the door, which again is really funny when you think about it, because there's no door there. So, you remember the last time the SAX shot the door open? There's no door there to begin with. So, I don't know why the SAX is shooting the door. I guess just as a sound trigger to let you know. And I'll show you with some bombs. Just, you know, where all these blocks are. You can see all of these are power bomb blocks, especially with the top. This section right here is not. So, what I'm doing here is by setting myself up at the exit, or the soon-to-be exit of this morph ball tunnel, I'm able to stand up along the wall. I am then able to jump and shoot. By jumping and shooting, I'm able to have the SAX turn around. It is very important that you remember to allow the SAX to take a singular step. As long as the SAX takes a step, it won't just turn around and shoot. Like, I'll do one where I go a little too early. It'll just turn around and shoot at you like that. And if you're at, say, 3 E-tanks, that could be a little, unfortunately, like, devastating, to the point where, you know, it'll end the run, for the most part. So that's what happens if you go too early. Now, if you do it at the right time, as the SAX is taking a step, say, you'll get the SAX to kind of turn into a sprint. Similar to this, where it'll turn around and run, because it's at a far enough distance to where it can't turn around and shoot, or it doesn't think that it can. So it's just going to turn around and start running, and you're just going to, as it jumps over you, you're going to jump under it, and you're just going to run to the right, and then back left, and then just do a quick hop, morph through the tunnel, and you're here at safety. Now, if you're a little uncomfortable with this fight, there is a save room right here. I will be saving out here because I am an almighty wizard that controls saves. Alright, so when you run in through here, you're just gonna kind of, you know, there's a couple of these blue X that are floating around here. As you can see, there's a lot of them. There's quite a number of them. So I'll show you a nice quick path here. So as you run in, you just run in, angle down, fire down once. Whoopsie. Not like that. And then you'll just kind of hit that box. So you want to kind of land here, and then you'll just kind of come up that way. So I'll show it to you again, just to kind of see. And I'll walk it through very slowly. As I can. So you're going to come in, and then shoot down once. You can land here, and then you're just going to jump to the right and shoot. So that way you land up here. Again, it'll destroy 2 blocks, which is very important. It destroys 2 blocks because the beam is 2 different parts. You're going to come, just run under here, and then run in. So one last time, full speed. Whoopsie. Even if you hit that one, you can kind of run under it. Not a big deal. So this room, you can stand here and just kind of hit these guys out of the way, run underneath, and then be on your way. Or, if you want, as you come through, just have a charge shot, R shoot, and you can kind of just jump through all 4. I'm not sure how it works that it can hit all 4. Especially if there's only 3 parts to the beam. Oops. Forgot I don't need to reset. Oopsie. Alright. Just kind of run in. Make sure you hit the, you want to make sure you hit at least the one that's like right here, the one closest to the ground in the middle. And then after you fire, you can just jump right through them all like I did. Do one more time, just for posterity. Run in. Whatever, you got. I think you get the point. That's the fastest way to get through the room. And then eye door. Just wait for it to open, and you're going to hit it with a single missile. Now the reason you only... Wow, okay, door. Alright, not 3. Got it. Alright, so the reason you're firing a missile is that your missiles now do 30, so they can render these eye doors completely useless. You don't have to worry about doing the charge beam anymore and getting close enough. You can just stand at a distance, get as close as you want, fire a missile, takes 1. It cuts out a lot of the eye door RNG. So I'm going to quick save right here because we got a boss fight coming up. That's usually what those Ghidorahs mean. This one's a little different in the sense that only charge beam is going to damage the core X. And there are a couple different ways to fight it. You can run in, and when you run in, you kind of see it here, and you can fire missiles at it all day. It doesn't actually change anything. I'm going to stand right here, wait until it opens, and then run in. Now, the fast way to do this fight is going to be slightly dangerous. I'm going to stand like right about here and jump into it and hit all 3 parts of the beam into this core X or into the Mega X. And then you can see I can kill it with 4 shots. And then I'm just going to do this little kind of setup for the doubles. So I should be 1 away. That one wasn't a double. I'm dumb. And then just kind of get it in that sweet spot. Now, it's kind of important where you kind of... It's not that important where you set up. What's important is that you do R shooting. So when you come in, you can... I'm kind of jumping and I'm pressing R, so that way as soon as I'm done firing, I can begin charging almost immediately. And I'll do it again, so you can kind of see. And you can slow this fight down on YouTube. Kind of jump, get hit into it. I'm getting hit right into the middle. 2, that kind of got turned around, and 3. Now, if you get it to where it stops high enough, you can jump and get 2 supers in. This one's probably the easiest kind of one to set up for doubles. It requires 6 missiles, so it will require 3 doubles. I didn't fire a second one. But this one, I think, is the easiest one to kind of set up. And you can kind of see what I'm doing here, is that I'm alternating the platforms and jumping over it to kind of set it up, to kind of bring it up and around. And this is a really good one to kind of get your feet wet when it comes to doubling, because it's so easy to get the hang of. Oops. Hello? 1, 2, 3. Crunch. So I'll run this way, touch this one, and then immediately jump the other way. I'll fire a missile from the ground. I'll jump extend slightly to kind of, you know... And you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of, as soon as I land, I'm coming around this way, and as soon as I land, I'm just kind of firing from the ground, immediately jumping and firing another one to kind of layer it up. The timing works out really well. So if you don't want to go for this quick kill of Mega X, completely understandable. It might be a little tough to get it first. Also, I might have mentioned this, but firing at the Core X here doesn't actually do anything. So if you don't want to do that strat, you can fight it straight up. And I spent a lot of time while grinding 1% hard to think of a strategy, because this is, in 1% hard, this is really like the first place that the boss is a legitimate threat. I took time to study its patterns, and I drilled this guy for a few hours just to try to get it right. And what I've learned is you can shoot it without, you know, entering its hitbox and hitting all 3 parts of the beam. There's a way you can juggle it. To be able to do this, though, you kind of have to get it onto the right side of the screen here, so like over on this side, and I'll show you what happens. So I'll just kind of jump and shoot. That should knock it over. I'll come over this way, fire it up there. Alright, so I hit it that way. I can now just juggle it in between. I'll just R shoot while looking up and down. And it will just kind of go in this kind of crescent pattern. And then from there, just kind of run, and then, I can still get a missile in there, that's fine. I'll jump extend to kind of keep it a little high. And the reason I'm jump extending there is because if it's a little too low, I want to be able to maintain some height, so that way it comes up to a certain height instead of just kind of coming this way and then doing a very sharp turn. I'm jumping extending so that way when it comes to try to ram me, it has to kind of come up and then come up to where I'm at. And by doing that, and by coming up this high, it sets up the positioning for the double. So this way I've got enough time and enough space to fire that first missile, jump, and then fire the next missile. You can get it pretty tightly on this one. It's very tight. But essentially what I'm hoping for is that it kind of runs into the side of its own hitbox into the 2 missiles, so that way I don't have to be frame perfect by when it comes to firing those missiles. Because you can do like a straight up, you know, 1 missile, 2 missile. And you can kind of see, like, I'm firing 2 missiles, but it looks like one explosion. So they're both hitting on the same frame. And you can, if you're listening, you can kind of hear them not really hitting at they're hitting at the same time, so there's not really a difference in noise either. So come over here, and then I can just juggle this guy up and down. Just holding left, looking up, looking down. Come from below, now he's going to come from above right about now. One more shot, I think. Nope, one more. And then we got it. This is going to come in a little lower. It's going to come up here. Jump extend. That was a double. Actually, it wasn't. That was a double. That was a double. You can see how I can kind of get them to be rather close. And that last one, if you slow it down, the explosions were about here and here on that hitbox. Very far apart. Because it's hitting the side of that hitbox, I have just enough time to get that second missile off to right before it hits, so that way it picks up both missiles and takes double the damage. I think that's a pretty thorough explanation of not only this fight, but also the double missile strategy, and to give you guys like sort of a building block on this, you know, to give you some place to start, really. But okay. Went over the quick strategy, went over the kind of other way you can set up the fight. Now we've got the Varia suit, so now we can go into Sector 5. Now, this door, you can come through here and just kind of jump through high. If you jump through high, you kind of reduce the time for that door transition. Shooting these guys off the ceiling, by the way, will just make them fall. We're just going to run across this room. So as you come through this room, it's just going to be, you know, jump through here, short of door transition, shoot as you land, and just run right through. So you're going to come up here, and then as you jump, you're going to hold right and up, so you start climbing immediately. And then you're just going to kind of climb this this ladder area. So again, you just kind of want to come up here, right about here. You can wall jump off to kind of make this a little bit faster. I know the TAS of this area does something like this. It'll come off the ladder again here to try to jump a little bit higher, and then jump off of here. If you want to just do one jump, that's fine. I know a lot of people, when they're doing this, they just kind of go like this, and then climb the rest of the way, and then do another one up there to kind of skip the rest of the ladder. Let's see, this. Whoopsie. And then you're just going to continue left. There are 2 missile packs to the... you're going to continue right, sorry. Spending too much time with my fiance, who makes us separate left and right. You can go left, and there's a missile on a block of crumble blocks that's 2x2. And then if you fall down, there's a path on the left side where there's a missile pack in the ceiling. You only get those in 100% primarily. You can get the one on the left and kind of wall jump to kind of maintain your height up here. It's really tight, and I wouldn't really consider it worth it, especially because we're going to be getting missiles at the very end of this area. And by this point, if you're picking up a bunch of extra missiles, you might not need about 90. I would think that... Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm so tired. I slept in today. But that's neither here nor there. A good learning missile count, I want to say, is around, I don't know, about 80, maybe, if you want to get that many. You don't have to. I don't know if having 80 is going to really help you out too much, and it'll make some fights later a little bit more consistent, but not by much. Well, yeah, it depends. Did you stop? Okay. So, I mean, yeah, you don't necessarily need 90. Sorry, my train of thought kind of got interrupted there twice. You don't necessarily need 90. 45 is probably the fastest. 40 is optimal. 45 is just for, like, that insurance. And a lot of, especially me now, when I came back to the game after taking a bit of a hiatus, a lot of people are now doing 45 missiles as the minimum, because it offers that slight bit of cushion in Sector 1, makes it more consistent, as well as providing you extra missiles later in the run, with some bosses like Notori that are going to require you to utilize a lot of your missiles for high DPS. So now that there's enemies in this area, because we've beaten the boss, I don't know the correlation, don't remember, quite honestly. I'm going to save right here. Heck! Can I stop yawning, please? What the heck? I promise this is not why I'm yawning. I'm not bored or anything. This isn't boring. I don't know why the heck I'm yawning. I'm just tired from... It's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna run through this door with a fully charged shot. Or a full charge beam waiting. So you can kind of see this puffer. These puffers are the worst enemies in this sector. And they make leaving this area so incredibly difficult because they're completely random with their movement. From their spawn point, they can travel in one of 4 directions, and they all travel diagonally. So that was traveling. The first one traveled down right. The second one was traveling down left. That one's traveling up right. You can see it's kind of a grab bag of, like, who knows. And the reason I'm keeping this charge is if you run in quick enough, you can kind of skip the, this little puffer and get up here pretty quickly. If he travels down right like he's been doing the last couple times, that's one way. You'll have to grab the ladder and kind of get over him. If not, you can jump over him and just wall jump off of the wall. So, whoopsie, something like this you're able to do now. You're going to want to try to keep track of these little buggers, because you see when you hit them, they puff out some smoke, and they damage you. So, that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is that their patterns are completely garbage. Alright. So, the optimal way to get through this room is when you run through this door, you're going to want to jump through it, and then hold R so you fire immediately. So that way you kind of shoot the little ouch that's along the ceiling, as well as land up here so you can kind of grab that ledge. I don't think you're actually able to grab it. You might be able to, let's see. I didn't get the jump. Whoopsie. Let's try that again. You're not actually able to grab this ledge when you land, but it's a little bit easier to kind of, and you can see, like, if I run through it, there's a door fix where it kind of has to transition, and then you have to jump again anyway. But by jumping at least halfway through the door, and then holding R, you can kind of kill the ouch and land up here. You can continue this option as well, and come in and jump off the ledge as well. If you don't feel comfortable with jumping through the door, holding the right trigger, and continuing on. So a little trick here as well. I'm gonna unmorph as I'm rolling to the right, and just keep holding left as I'm rolling to the left. God, she always messes up her directions, and now I'm just nonchalantly doing it because I'm so used to, like, her doing it. So as I'm rolling off to the left. Oh boy, there's an ouch there. That's actually not supposed to be there. I'm just gonna hold left, and then I'm gonna press up to unmorph, and I'm gonna keep holding left as I unmorph. Get out of here, dude. You're ruining the video. So I'm gonna get about here. And you can kind of see I'm on nothing. But what I'm able to do is when I'm kind of, like, halfway out of the tunnel here, you kind of can see if I'm pressing jump. I can't really jump, so if I go a little bit more, I can kind of get pushed out here and kind of jump along there, along the wall, and I can just unmorph and grab grab the ladder immediately. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to, as I jump, I'm gonna press up, and then I'm gonna press right almost immediately, and I'm gonna keep holding up so that way I can grab this ladder and climb as soon as I grab it. And then just do a couple wall jumps, and then I'll just fire a missile and then charge a shot through this door. As I come through, it's important that you kind of have a charge here, because this ouch can be in a very bad location for when you jump. So if you fire a missile or charge shot has, again, a higher area of effect. You'll be able to hit it much more likely. So if I kind of come in and just do something like that, he went to the left again, alright. This guy's not going to want to cooperate, even though he's got one of 2 movement patterns. There we go. And then I'm just going to charge again. And I have to now navigate this room with 2 puffers and a bunch of ouch in the room as well. So you're gonna have to... I mean, there's no real way to get through this room other than by practicing. And again, I kind of missed that ouch. I'll just kind of take the hit there and run through. I'll just use my damage frames occasionally to get through the puffers. Nothing else you really can do there. And they'll hit you, and you'll take some damage, and they'll slow you down a bit. But there's, you know, not a whole lot you can do. That's going right. Ow. So this guy... Something like that. There's so many different patterns that you just have to kind of practice the room a few times until you get it. Ow. I would love if I stopped taking damage. Alright, so I'm going to come in here and use a missile this time. Works just as well. Dodge this guy, fire a shot up. Oh, uh-oh. And then you're just going to move right through. Again, it's not that bad once you get used to, like, start to get the hang of the room. There's really no other tips that I can kind of, like, provide other than to just go through it as many times as you can, just to kind of understand the patterns. And you can kind of see I'm doing this room over and over again just to kind of, you know, exemplify the fact that there are, you know, a lot of different ways you can get through this room. Most of it's just going to be, you know, come in here, fire that up like that, kill that guy, and then you can kind of... Gotta watch out for the ouch on that ladder, and I jumped over that one. There's also that ouch on the door, which can block your shot a bit. If he's on the door when you fire your shot, he can actually just block the shot completely, and you'll just run into the door. But again, there's that ouch on the ladder that you have to watch out for. There are the two puffers. It's, you know, it's just coming back the way you came in, and just dodging some enemies on the way out. I think that's all that there is to that. I'm sorry if that's not, like, super informative. I want it to be. So I guess I can kind of just go through this room where there's no enemies. So again, you can kind of shoot that thing, you know, you can make this jump completely. But the reason you kind of try to kill that ouch if it's going to the right is because you can see when I stand up, Samus's hitbox is right along the ceiling. So that ouch will hit you and knock you back a bit. Same with trying to, like, hit the one guy over here. You can jump up here to the left and do something like that, or you can kind of wall jump off and grab the ledge. Either way, it's pretty fast. It's just as fast either way. The ledge jumps might actually be slightly faster. Potentially. If you're spending less time in the air and you're not having to kind of go to the right and then travel back, but it's such a short distance, the time is negligible. And then as soon as you get up here, you can fire a missile here, and then just grab this ladder like this, and then jump off at a certain point. If the puffer is, like, right around here as you get off, just run right through it. You'll hit the damage, just keep holding right, and your iframes, you'll be able to run right through the hitbox. And then just jump up here, shoot the door open, and just run right through. Now, there is a slug that is going to be on the ground here, so having a charge shot or a missile ready to fire, charge shot probably is better because... So you shoot the door open and just hold the charge, and then you can just kind of time it up to be right when you need it. You can use a missile as well, and you got to kind of keep your eyes open for that slug because it can kind of blend into the ground. You can see that right there is a pretty open spot, but if it's like around here, you'll kind of see a little bit of it, not a whole lot of it. And that's really going to be the only obstacle in this room. Just come in here, and now you've got slugs on the wall and on the floor. So what I'm going to do is, usually when I come through this room, I keep the shot charged. I hold R through the door to R shoot to try to kill that guy there. I'll kill that guy along the floor, and then I can kind of get here and morph. And again, like, the only reason, like, I do a lot of, like, setup things to kind of make my life a little easier as I'm coming through here. So just kind of hold R to shoot this guy. get another shot, kill this guy along the ground. I can kind of jump over that guy, morph here to kill the guy along the ground. And the reason I morph at that point specifically is because we need to morph there anyway. So by coming down here, you can kind of run off and morph right before you hit the ground to kind of... Oops, hang on. Kind of like that, where you don't land and then have to do it. So you can kind of just run off like this and keep going. The reason that you're going to morph here, you can roll under the puffers that are here. You might have to jump over some of them. But more often than not, you're able to just roll right here and then just jump. As soon as you get to this wall, just jump into this little hole and grab the missiles. It's faster to get them on the way out than it is to get them on the way in. But, you know, if you don't have the missiles for that barrier when you begin the sector, it'll be, you know, it's crucial for you to grab those if you don't get the Shine Spark as well. Now, another thing you can do here, and I'll save in this little cubby hole of safety, is that when you come out of here, through the door transition, you can kind of get a jump out of the Morph Ball tunnel like I just got. And it'll take you a few tries to kind of practice it, probably, because you have to not only time it up through the door transition, but you also have to press it at the right time, because if you hold A through the door transition, you're not gonna actually, like, do the jump. You have to, like, time it up as you come out of the door transition, as you're about to exit the Morph Ball tunnel. You can kind of press A. If not, you know, you'll kind of land here and then just come up through here. Another thing that I'm doing, you see, is that when I'm coming up, as I'm unmorphing, I'm firing a missile. I'm holding the right trigger the entire time. So that way, like, as soon as I press up, I can press B almost immediately to fire a missile. And the reason I'm doing that is because you can see there, you know, he can be right on the edge of where you need to climb up. If that's the case, he's just going to knock you right back off. So I fire a missile before I grab the ledge to allow myself to be able to... So I can allow myself to climb the ledge. God, my brain is fried, and I've only been doing this for 40 minutes. Sorry, I don't know why I'm jumbling my words as much as I am today. Although I guess that's kind of typical. If you get lucky and you kind of miss and he's going to the left or the right anyway, you kind of luck out in some way, because then you're able to just climb up and hit him as you pass by. So let me save right here. So there's two ways to get out of this room. So, as I come through this door, I'm going to hold a charge beam, and I'm going to release the charge beam through the door. The reason I'm going to do this is because there's a little guy that's on the ground there. And by doing that, I'm able to kill him without having to really time it up. And then I can just spam the beam and then fire a missile right about there to kill that last little guy. So if you start from here, though, as soon as you land on, like, so let's say I just landed on the platform. Let's kill these guys. Okay, let me just get up here. Now I'm just gonna run right through the door, fire. You can save a spark there and shine spark your way across this little expanse and do something like that as opposed to running. That's the last neat little trick that you can kind of learn there. That trick is very, very tight to get that spark. You also need to fire a missile to hit that guy that's in the corner there. That little bull. I believe they're bulls. You need to fire it so that way you kill him, or else you won't be able, or else he'll hit you and you just won't be able to get the shine spark. You'll get knocked out of speed booster, and you won't be able to charge it. This doesn't actually save a whole lot of time RTA. I think it saves 2 in-game seconds. RTA, though, it's slightly slower because of the startup animation than it is to just run. But swag, dude. There's no greater reason to do something than swag. And just like that, we've come to the end of Sector 6, as well as part number 6 of this tutorial. I want to thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday or in the next video, depending on when you're watching this, whether it be in the future, in which case past me, Says hello to all you future people. But have a great day, everybody, and I hope this has helped you out with Sector 6 in some way. And I don't think I've actually left out a whole lot of items that you can grab. There's only one extra E-tank that, even then, it might not even be worth getting if you're getting all these extra other ones. Yeah, that one's really slow to get anyway, kind of out of the way regardless, and you get that E-tank right before the SAX, so ideally you really shouldn't be needing to get an extra E-tank there. You should be having to get 2 E-tanks in this sector, or at least on this trip. You can kind of save it till later, and I'll pick it up on the way on our second trip to Sector 6, but again, thank you for watching. Again, this one's a little bit shorter because the sector's not as long as some of the other things that we do in the other sectors. Sector 3, Sector 6, they're relatively short. They're just as big, and there's enough to do there, but not a whole lot to really describe. It's more, again, it's a lot of just different room stuff. There's not a whole lot of extra things you can go out of your way to pick up, especially on your first trip. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great day.